What's going on, traders? Welcome to Options University. My name is Ruben. Super excited about this video. We're going to keep it once again as simple as possible. We are talking today about bid versus ask. So anytime you have a stock, you're going to have sellers on one side and buyers on the other side. Now, a seller and a buyer, they have a different interpretation of how much they want to either pay or sell a stock for. So that's what we're talking about today. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so here we are on the whiteboard. I'm just going to basically illustrate here bid versus ask with my favorite stock here, Apple. So this is pretty basic stuff. Whenever you go into Google or Yahoo or your favorite trading program just to find out what a stock is currently trading at, you're, let's say, going to find out that Apple is currently trading at, and I'm just going to make this super simple. Let's say the current stock price is $200. But how do we get to this number? What decides this number right here? The current price of a stock. Well, as with any market, you are going to have two players. You're going to have a buyer and a seller, right? So, but for our technical purposes, we call a buyer the bid side and a seller the ask side. So the bid is how much a buyer is willing to buy one share of Apple versus how much a seller is willing to sell one of their shares of Apple, right? Now the difference between the ask and the bid, or the bid and the ask, in this case is what? 3 cents, right? So that 3 cent difference is called the spread. So it basically means that the next seller in line wants to basically offload their stock for $200.01, whereas the next buyer in line only wants to pay $199.98. So what's really happening is at some point the buyer and a seller is going to be matched to become awesome friends. And whenever a seller exists in line that wants to sell the stock for $199.98, the trade will execute, and now the new price of Apple for a millisecond or a second becomes $199.98 until the next guy comes in that wants to either buy it for more, or the next seller comes in that either wants to sell it for more or for less. And that is what is constantly changing the price of the stock. Now let's go back to the spread. We talked about how there is a 3 cent spread, right, between the current seller and the buyer's numbers. What if the spread was 50 cents? Now, this would probably never happen with Apple because Apple is a very high volume stock. But let's just say that for this example, that a buyer would want to sell Apple at $200.50, and then the buyer would want to buy it for only $200. So this 50-cent difference is huge. This spread, so to speak, is huge, because what happens is if this buyer right here, okay, decides to purchase the stock for $200.50, the moment he purchases the stock for this price right here, his position or his stake is immediately going to only be worth $200, or the difference between the ask and the bid. So the second he buys 1,000 shares, right, he is going to lose the difference in the spread, which in this case is going to be $500. So does that make sense? It's like you walking into a car lot and paying for a car and then leaving the car lot and that car immediately depreciating in value, thereby you losing these $500. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that whenever you guys are looking at a stock, and if you guys are thinking about investing in a stock or in an options contract, the point is you want to make sure that the spread is as short or as close to both the bid and the ask as possible. So if you look at a stock or a stock option that has a 50-cent spread, right, between the bid and the ask, stay away from it. That's pretty much the most important part. You want the spread to be as close as possible to what the bid or the buyer is willing to buy it for and what the ask or the seller is willing to sell it for. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us as Ask the Pros, and I will see you guys on the next lesson. See ya.